I'm going to Scotland for a solo trip for an entire week. I'm leaving tomorrow and I'm swimming with basking sharks. I'm going to go bungee jumping. I'm doing a bungee swing. I'm going canyoning. I'm visiting Mary Queen of Scots' birthplace. That's like my favorite person in all of history. I'm going to try to do this alpine like roller coaster near Edinburgh. I'm also going to visit hopefully Stirling University, which is where I did a summer semester, and I'm going to be there on the last day of the Fringe, which is a comedy festival in Edinburgh in Scotland. So I've got a lot coming up and I'm so excited, but also it's coming with a lot of anxiety as well. So I thought that I would take you through kind of what my thought process is right now while packing. I've been nervous the last few nights, just getting like a little bit of anxiety of like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if something goes terribly wrong? Like, because where I'm swimming with basking sharks is basically, it's on a remote island. Like, there's not a grocery store. Like, we have to pack our own food. Bringing a ton of protein bars. I'm renting a car, so that has made traveling a lot easier already, but I am taking a train from London to Glasgow, and then I'm gonna go head up to Oban. I think I'm saying that right. So basically, I've been getting a little bit of anxiety for the last few nights, but anxiety and nervousness are the same emotion. They're just interpreted differently, so I always try to remember that. You know, I always think of like what could go wrong, because on the Isle of Coal, you know, it's a bit isolated. Here are my thoughts, and I'm just gonna say them even though they really scare me saying them, but I'm like, what if I get paralyzed? What if I go bungee jumping and the rope snaps? What if I die? What if I get into a car accident because I'm driving? Yes, traveling comes with so much excitement and so many things to look forward to, but for somebody with OCD, it does cause a lot of anxiety as well, which is why I do it. It's why I do it. Because I love it as well, but to push myself outside of my comfort zone to this extent, especially with nobody else to rely on except for me, it's just something I view as so important, and I feel like I'm so lucky to be able to save money for and get to have these experiences, even if before them I do get a little bit stressed out. Back in the day though, I would have been beyond stressed out, just to the point where I would have been like inconsolable. Whenever I would leave my family, I would sob for like a week before every single day. I'm really lucky because I had all of this scuba diving gear, so I don't have to rent it. But did I bring it back from the States? Yeah, I did. I'm not being funny. How cute is this? Packing is so funny because I used to have such an issue with packing of like, okay, if I bring this, like something bad will happen. Okay, that actually was when I hesitated, so that was a compulsion because I was like, oh, I need to put these down before I talk about this because or else I'm going to contaminate these shirts. So I'm going to talk about it while I'm holding these shirts as an exposure. But basically, picking out clothes in general in the morning for me was genuinely traumatic. Packing for something was almost unbearable, especially if I was excited for it. Anything that I was excited for, my OCD would latch onto. It would try to protect me, but like by protecting me, it would just ruin every single experience that I ever had. You know? But picking out clothes used to be such an ordeal because if I thought a bad thought or if I saw like a dark spot on it, forget it, I couldn't bring it, even if I like needed it for the trip. And I know that this might sound so silly for people who don't have OCD, but I'm able to just like go into my closet and pick whatever I want. I know it sounds stupid, but it was not a thing for basically my entire life. So basically to have this level of freedom packing is unmatched. It really is. It used to just be so time consuming packing, or I would like underpack or I would overpack. I would have to bring this or I couldn't bring this. There were so many rules around it. I felt like every single thing I tried to bring was like emotionally contaminated, and I would try to pack really fast and then I would forget things. You know, it would just be like a whole thing. I think I'm gonna bring my Scotland baseball hat. I love this thing. It's such a good hat. Another thing that my OCD affected so much was not only just regularly folding like this, but placing it in my suitcase, because if I placed it in wrong, I was not allowed to bring it. Let's just say my options and choices were very narrow while going away. And then if I was on vacation and I touched something and it didn't feel right, or I thought a bad thought when I was like looking at it, then I couldn't wear it on the vacation anyway. So it was so limiting. My daily thought process was just filled with, if you don't do this, this will happen. It's like, okay, if you touch this, then this will happen. And it could be good or bad of the this will happen. It was a bunch of things like that constantly on repeat throughout the entire day. If I don't step here, then this will happen. If I don't open the door this way, then this will happen. If I don't choose this sweater, this will happen. If I don't say this word at this time, this, and then repeat it, this will happen. So that was basically what living in my brain was like. Because people would always be like, God, I'd love to be in your head for a day. I would always be like, you would not survive a day. But that was what my head was like every single second of every single day. So when I say that my OCD affected every single thing, I meant it. I meant it. These are my pajamas. I literally just started recording again because once again, zipping up the suitcase would still have been a thing. I'm like, okay, I have to think clean thoughts or zero thoughts or sing a song consistently while I was zipping it up, or else I'd have to do it again and do it again and do it again, or I do that a lot. I broke so many zippers. And now I can think as many intrusive thoughts as I want and still zip it up. So I try to use every single instance of like an intrusive thought or anxiety as an opportunity to do an exposure, especially if it's just a mini one. This solo trip is technically a huge exposure for me. Or not even really an exposure as to say, but something that's like really pushing me outside of my comfort zone and something that I am really nervous about. And to be honest, I didn't think I would be as nervous as I am, but I think it's just because it means so much to me and I'm just so excited. See, and then having to like reopen this, that would have stressed me out, but not anymore. I know I've said this in other videos too, but the more you look at anxiety as a warning rather than a trigger, the bigger your world becomes, because when you use anxiety as an opportunity when it happens, instead of kind of viewing yourself as a victim of circumstance or a victim of it, it changes your mindset towards it. I always say that there's like 3 reasons typically you get anxiety. You're looking forward to something and you're worried about it going wrong, so like this trip. There's so much uncertainty, you're going outside of routine. The second thing is worrying about things that you can't control or worrying about things that haven't happened yet, and that's typically when I lean on trying to trust my future self to handle those future problems, because only your future self will have all of the information to actually make the decision. So no matter how much you think about it now and like, visualize the scenario and every single different outcome, typically it still always ends up different. So you can either worry once or worry twice. Then the third is kind of random anxiety. Either it's like out of nowhere, or like OCD anxiety where like, oh gosh, I can't do this because of this, or if I don't do this, then I'll do this. And I try to use every single instance of anxiety as an opportunity to make my bubble bigger or push myself further, because typically when you have anxiety as somebody with OCD, it's a false alarm, it's a faulty fire alarm, as I've mentioned in the last 2 videos that I've done. So almost always, obviously using common sense, going towards that anxiety is typically always a good thing when you're doing ERP. If you thought, if I don't pack this, then I will sprain my ankle, our body reacts to that like that option is actually occurring, or that is a genuine circumstance that we are going to be faced with, and that is the decision that we have to make. Imagine that constantly with everything. And you do the compulsion and you immediately get that sense of relief and that ease, because you're taking action, you're doing something in a situation that you technically have no control over, but it feels like you do. And once again, even though you feel something doesn't make it true. My roommate got me these socks. Aren't these so cute? I'm obviously gonna have to bring them. I think that's it, you guys. I think that this is all of my stuff that I'm wanting to bring. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, and I don't think there is. The last time I did something like this was like January 2023, so like a year and a half ago. And it was a solo trip, but I was meeting up with friends along the way. I started in Boston. I visited friends in New Zealand, Australia, Bali, Vietnam, and then I did a little solo stint in Hong Kong. So I went to all those places solo, but I met up with people along the way. And then I flew back to London. I did like a nice like full loop kind of around the world when I went back to Boston in the summer. This time I'm not meeting up with anybody. I'm just going. I am in a tour group with the sharks, for the basking sharks. Other than that, I'm completely solo. As exciting as it all is, it is also very nerve-wracking. Once again, like when you just go outside of the realm of routine, it's anxiety producing for people who have OCD, and honestly anybody in general. Like it's a normal thing to have anxiety when you go outside of routine or go outside of your area that you're so familiar with and you know so well. The reason I'm doing this is to push myself harder than I think I ever probably have before. So yeah, I can't wait to see even like now I'm like, I feel like I'm jinxing it. I'm like, but I'm excited to hopefully have it be a great trip. If you are somebody that is struggling with OCD and you'd like to get to the point where you're able to kind of travel the world and like not have your compulsions dictate what you do, like yeah, of course you might have anxiety, but like you're able to push past it and do it anyway and become proud of yourself for facing your fears over and over and over again and gaining trust in yourself, go to NOCD.com. All of their therapists are licensed and trained in OCD and ERP therapy. You can also book a free consultation call with them on their website. Oh, thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited. Okay, I can't wait. Thank you so much. Have a great day.